I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but watching the events unfold over the weekend, it's giving Civil War vibes.
We need to come back with weapons. Go to the gun store, get a gun, learn how to use it, and face you guys man to man.
Ooh, scary. You're gonna go to the gun store and then buy the gun and then learn how to use it, and then you're really gonna show us. I mean, I might be scared if you guys weren't such bitches. Welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Oh my gosh, I'm so scared of the guy who's never used a gun before. The big tough guy. Ooh, so scared, so spooky. Oh no. Guys, listen, I do take them seriously that they want violence. Okay, I want to be clear. I do take them seriously that they are trying to take down America from within and that they do very much want a civil war because, again, over the weekend, you've got more civil unrest. Once again, you have all of these people putting their lives on the line to protest and obstruct ICE agents who are there to round up criminals. That's all there is to it. They are there to cause a problem for the law enforcement officials who went out there to round up actual criminals. And so then you see, as you just saw, ICE and Border Patrol having to deploy tear gas in the middle of a raid because their vehicles were swarmed by rioters. Now, by the way, a lot of misconceptions happening online because like the left is retarded. So I'd like to just remind them. I keep hearing this. Like, ICE isn't law enforcement. They don't have the right to issue orders. They don't. Yes, they are, dipshits. Yes, they are. They are a law enforcement agency at the federal level, and they do have the ability to go in. They have court orders, deportation orders. They have orders to go in and apprehend illegals. And if you impede what they're doing, it really doesn't matter if you're an American citizen, you still get consequences for that. They are law enforcement. Now, they can't deport you. I wish they could. Our country would be a much better place if we could just do that. I mean, maybe one day, President Trump, just saying. They can't deport you yet if you're a citizen, but we're working on it. I'm just kidding. Or am I? I don't know. You decide. But these are law enforcement officials. And these crazy leftists, they can't tolerate criminals being deported from this country, illegal criminals. And it really feels like they're calling for just straight up civil war. And they're calling to kill ICE. They're calling for seemingly a civil war, I think.
Show up with guns to face you guys.
We got your
It's time for an armed resistance against the United States of America.
Take your mask off.
This is done. We're done. You're murderers. You shot a woman in a wheelchair.
Mask off, bitch boy.
A wheelchair?
We need to come back.
Wait,
with
what?
Weapons. Go to the gun store. Get a gun. Learn how to use it.
Learn how to use it.
Face you guys man to man.
You learn how to use it, buddy. You learn. You train. Now, we're years ahead of you in training, okay? And by the way, we do have all the guns. So, good luck, I guess. Good luck. Good luck against the ICE agents who have the vests and the artillery and all of these additional supports. And you haven't even bought a gun yet. I don't see that working out well for you, sir. This big, fat, tough guy. First of all, I need the administration to take this very seriously. They need to take this extremely seriously. Any of these protesters who are out there threatening these ICE agents, who are out there threatening, saying, I'm going to get a gun and then I'm going to kill you, should be arrested. You've gone far over freedom of speech. You do not get to threaten someone with murder. You're not allowed to do that. You know how I know? I've had people prosecuted for doing the same thing. You are not allowed to do that. So I think the DOJ, ICE, DHS, whoever it is, needs to take these threats extremely seriously. And the idea that the left would lose their minds over Renee Good is like crazy, kooky leftist who tried to have relationships with men and apparently couldn't handle it, and then all of a sudden decided she was a lesbo, caught on camera trying to run down and like she smiles beforehand too. Here she is. I'm not mad at you. I'm about to run you over, but I'm not mad at you.
It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later.
By the way, isn't that the most woman thing to say? I'm not mad at you while she's holding up all of this pent-up aggression that she actually is very mad at you and intends to use it against you later. So here it is. It's right there. She did that. And again, the left is like, she said she wasn't mad at him. Oh, okay. Well, she's also a woman with some mental illness. She wouldn't be the first woman to passive aggressively. What's wrong, honey? Nothing. Are you okay? I'm fine. I'm just about to unleash holy hell on you. Like, oh, that would be totally out of character for women. She said she wasn't mad at him. Obviously, she wasn't mad at him. Like, I don't, this is actually, I think, worse than George Floyd in some cases, because there was a lot of bad information about what happened to George Floyd, but the optics of the video were really bad, right? The optics of the video, you had this man who we now know died from, he had fentanyl in his system. He had all of these other issues going on. And I believe that Derek Chauvin should not be in prison right now. But with George Floyd, you at least had the optics of the video and you had just this guy who was under arrest. With this woman, this is a woman who was trying to protect like Somali fraudsters from being deported. She was literally simping for illegal criminals who shouldn't be here, who are stealing taxpayer money. And she put herself in between the law enforcement agency who was trying to remove these criminals. She risked her own life getting behind the wheel, turning the wheel and pressing the gas. She smiled, by the way, when she did it. And she locked the doors. Her little butch wife tried to get in. She locked the doors. She wouldn't let her in because she knew what she was about to do. And this is the state of leftism. They are rioting over a chick who tried to protect Somali criminals from being deported. That is why I'm saying this is actually worse. People protesting this are actually, like, this is actually dumber than the George Floyd protests. It's actually dumber. You want to see the level of dumb that it's gotten to? There are women who literally just saw that if you obstruct ICE, if you make the wrong decision, if you put their life on the line and they are forced to defend themselves or their partners or any other innocent people, they will do that. And you know what these people are doing? These crazy, liberal, mentally ill white women, but I know I repeat myself, they're bringing babies to these protests that are getting out of control.
Hate what's happening to it with people who frankly aren't from here coming in and telling us who should be here. And when it comes down to loving my neighbor, I'm just going to love my neighbor. So
You have a little peanut with you.
I do. This is Lola.
Lola, and why was it important for you to bring her?
Just to feel the energy of love and community and to show people that I'm not going to let someone else intimidate me to live in a city that doesn't represent what I want it to represent. I want to be able to bring her in a place where people are saying we love our neighbors.
This is, guys, they don't even know what they're saying. They just string words together that sound good. You're killing people in wheelchairs. That didn't happen. You don't love your neighbors. I mean, yes, I do. Say that to Lake and Riley's family. Say that to the Moran family. Say that to Jocelyn Nungaray's family. I do actually love my neighbors. I want to keep them safe. That's why I want the criminals out. It really shouldn't be it shouldn't be hard to make that connection, guys. Of course I love my neighbors, but if these criminals are here in my community and they're making my community less safe, they need to go. You have a 1-year-old daughter that you're toting to a protest that you know could turn ugly, and you're supposed to be the arbiter on loving people. That's crazy to me. That is actually insane to me. Anyone who brings their children to any of these protests, I think that people should be looked into. I think that their custody should be looked at. I actually do. I don't know how cold it is in Minneapolis, but it's pretty damn cold. Why would you take your child out there, potentially in harm's way, just for like clicks and likes so you can get on the news? Congrats, lady, you're on the news. Now you're putting your child in danger, but you're on the news. You got the virtue signal points. Great job. And on top of that, these people who are out there don't even know what led to this. They don't even know. They're like, oh, ICE bad, orange man bad, brown people good. That's all they know. That's the surface level. That's how far they've thought about any of this, because they don't actually know about any of the Somalian fraud that was the entire reason for ICE showing up to Minnesota, for ICE showing up in these Somali communities. That was the whole reason, was all of the fraud. Your taxpayer money is being wasted and sometimes sent to terror groups. Do you guys know anything about that? No. Apparently, these dumbasses know nothing about what transpired to bring ICE into their communities. Watch.
How do you feel about the Somali fraud in Minneapolis?
I'll be honest, I haven't researched it a lot, but from what it looks like to me is it looks like it's a made-up concept from people trying to smear Governor Walz.
I checked into that a little bit, right?
Did you?
There's nothing going on there. There's like
on.
this edgelord going around stirring up his mega conservative base, but none of this stuff is rooted in truth and reality. And I think if you just go out, do your own research, like actually do that. Like go and just like look at video evidence, come to a realistic opinion about what's going on in the world. It's a scapegoat, right, for anti-Somali immigration hate.
Yep.
I don't know much about the Somali fraud. Sounds like bullshit.
So there's a question as to whether it is a fraud. I don't know. I'm not following that real closely. So I will reserve judgment on that.
I mean, I think that they were just using this as an excuse to go in there and scare people and show that they can be really powerful. I don't think it's authentic at all.
That was from our friend, comedian Davey Jackson. By the way, Nick Shirley being called an edgelord, that's awesome. That is so cool. I want to be called an edgelord someday. That is awesome. But these people don't even know. They're like, I heard it's total BS. It's just like made up. It's just rumors. Do your own research. I think that's what he did. That's why he went to Minnesota and conducted the investigation that he did. He tried to go into these places. They didn't want to let him in. There were no kids. Anywhere he went. They didn't even know how to spell Quality Leering Center. They didn't even know how to spell their daycares correctly. But it was all made up. Do your own research. Why don't you tell that to Jacob Frey, the Minneapolis mayor, who literally has already admitted that there was fraud, guys?
Look, obviously, everybody could have done more to prevent fraud, and I think that's a fair point to make. Do more to prevent fraud, and you look what he's doing right now. He's setting up a whole bunch of infrastructure to do that. And by the way, look, the fraud's real. We've all got to acknowledge it. The fraud is very real. And by the way, when somebody commits fraud, and there are many that have done that, you investigate it, you charge, you prosecute, and you put the person in jail. As an individual, you put the person in jail as an individual.
Sure, right. But alternative theory, Jake, can I call you Jake? If the person is not supposed to be here, if the person is illegal and is already a criminal, we don't need to, we need to investigate the fraud, but we don't need to, investigate whether or not the person should be apprehended by ICE because we already have that. They're either here legally or they're not. So yes, investigate the fraud. Thank you for admitting that it's real. Why don't you please go tell your dumbass protesters who are out there protesting nothing? But you can investigate all of the fraud while also allowing ICE to do their damn jobs. And instead, Minneapolis is allowing people who, they're so outraged by the death of Renee Good. They're so outraged by the idea of death all of a sudden, except when it comes to threatening to murder ICE agents.
I'm very upset over the killing of Renee Good. ICE needs to die. We have no excuses anymore for not protecting our neighbors.
Oh, that's how far love our neighbors is extended. That's how far we're going with love our neighbors. We love our neighbors. Jesus tells us to love our neighbors. By the way, we have to protect our neighbors. By the way, ICE has to die. That's the mental gymnastics that they've come to. Okay. I am so sick to death of hearing over and over again how the right is to blame, how the violence is coming from both sides, the stupid whataboutism. It's always coming from the left. They're going out there and they're literally saying we should kill ICE, and they need consequences for that. That's not us. We don't do that. It's just them. In fact, when our side goes out there just to document, to record what's happening. I mean, if you're so proud to be out there protecting your neighbors, you should be fine with the documentation of that. And somehow we are not safe going out there and documenting what's actually happening. Our friend Nick Sorter was attacked again. They cannot help themselves trying to grab his phone. How dare you document? How dare you document what we're doing out here trying to protect our neighbors? Because we're the good guys. That's why you can't actually film us. It doesn't make any sense. If you're the good guys, if you guys are the heroes of this story and you guys are not the villains, why do you get so violent when we go out there to try to show people what you're doing? Doesn't make any sense. You know what else doesn't make any sense? If you are the good guys, why are you vandalizing my friend's car? This is Nick and Cam Higbee. They're just surrounding his car, jumping on top of the hood.
Yeah, so just so everybody knows here,
and
so
then
you
they
have these frozen water bottles.
Busted out their windshield.
They threw through. Right there and right there. Luckily, there were headrests in the way. If these things...
They could have spray paint can too.
Oh, yeah.
Vandalized his entire car.
Yeah, leave that one. Actually, we need to bag that one up.
Spray painted bitch on it. Spray painted other nasty words on the car. And threw frozen water bottles through his window, which, I mean, what do you think they're hoping to do when they throw a frozen water bottle hard as a rock through the window of his car? I don't think it's to keep him hydrated. I think it's not just to break the window, but there's something else that can be broken. Oh, their heads. But the violence is coming from both sides. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It is coming from one side, and it is getting increasingly escalated. So the question is, what is this current administration willing to do about it? They are not showing any signs of relenting, especially when they have people like Representative Ilhan Omar who are amping them up. All the time. Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar, Jasmine Crockett, AOC, they're all amping them up. You recall Ilhan Omar's original narrative that there was no attempt to run the officer over, no ICE agents appeared to be hurt, and she told them to get out of their city. But oopsies, it's just that the video shows that that's a lie. And now, all of a sudden, it's actually, let me tell you why it's the agent's fault. He should know better. It's actually the agent's fault. He was asking for it, I guess.
If they are saying that he has 10 years on service and is trained, he should know that you shouldn't be trying to get in front of a moving car.
So now Ilhan Omar is a law enforcement expert. She's a law enforcement expert. She's been through the ICE training, apparently, I guess. Because she's here to tell you that he should have known better. He shouldn't actually have ever done that. He shouldn't have been trying to stop Renee Good from blocking and impeding ICE's job. He shouldn't have done that. He should have just let her do it. And then he could have gone over and he could have knocked on the back of the car. Never the front though, please. What? You might, if you're eye line with a murderer and you get in front of their car, they have no choice but to murder you. That's like, why did the girl wear the short skirt? What did she think was going to happen? How the goalposts have shifted. How the goalposts have shifted. It's really, really sick. There is going to be a point in which there is no return from this. Because again, if these people are willing to take to the streets and commit to killing ICE agents because they're literally removing illegal criminals from our communities, I don't know how you come back from that. I mean, you come back from it, but it's a hard reset, and there's a lot of tragedy in the process. Now, I want to give you one good nugget before we go. There is apparently a give, send, go for this ICE agent. I would encourage you guys, at the time of this taping, there was more than $180,000 raised for him for, personal costs, family protection. Obviously, his entire family, he and his wife are at risk now. But I would just encourage you guys to go check out that give, send, go, because what else I can tell you is that the lesbian wife of the chick who asked for herself to be shot, my personal opinion based off of the facts that we have, she's got like more than $1 million in donations, just to show you where we're at. So if you guys can spare a few, I'm sure that he and his family would really appreciate it, considering he was just there to do his job. He was just there to do his job and make the community safe. And this is the thanks that he gets for it. I'm real scared. I am really worried that all of the good ICE agents are going to quit if this administration does not show huge force to show that they support these ICE agents and that they will not tolerate the violent threats against them. All of that scum that you saw threatening them belong in jail. All right, make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Hit the like button, smash the like button, and comment. It'll help us in the algorithm, which we all know stacked against us. Hey, and make sure that you subscribe to the new YouTube channel. It's Sara Gonzales Texas, all spelled out. I'm going to tell you something kind of funny. We're already noticing there's some funny business going on this particular. You're like, it's weird that I can't see what I hit the bell for notifications and I don't get them. I search Sara Gonzales Unfiltered and I can't find it. Yeah, there's a reason for that. There's some funny business going on, and we're just trying to test something. So make sure that you go over to Sara Gonzales Texas, subscribe there as well. There's going to be exclusive content in the coming weeks and months that are released there, so you're not going to want to miss it. All right, want to thank our sponsor this segment, Beam Organic. So Beam has this dream powder, and it's to help you sleep. It really, really works, and it's a nighttime blend packed with proven ingredients shown to improve sleep so you can wake up refreshed and ready to take on the day. Dream is made with a powerful blend of all natural ingredients. It's reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin, of course, and it's made right here in America. So it supports jobs, quality, and the principles that we stand for. And it is very, very Maha friendly. There's no junk in it. There's no fillers. It's just a bunch of proven ingredients that help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and you're not going to wake up groggy. You're going to wake up ready to produce results. So if you've been waiting for the right time to try Dream, if you've been having trouble sleeping, now's the time. They're offering my listeners an exclusive discount going into the new year. Go to shopbeam.com/Sarag. Just kidding. It's Sarah G, but I like to call it Sarag. Use code Sarah G and get my exclusive offer for up to 40% off Beam's Dream Powder. With my discount code Sarah G, you can get their best-selling Dream Powder for $39. So seriously, think about it. How much would you pay for a truly great night of sleep? With my discount, it is $1.25 per night. Go to shopbeam.com/Sarah G today. So what's been really incredible to watch is that here domestically, we have these ungrateful Democrats who, they're out there in the streets, they're protesting because a president dares want a safer community for his constituents. And it's very strange because while they're doing that, they're also trying to explain, I'll say America-splain, left-splain, Democrat-splain to all of these other countries how actually Donald Trump is oppressing them. They did it with Venezuela, right? President Trump, with the Maduro capture, they're like, no, actually, let me explain to you why Venezuelans who lived under the dictatorship, the evil dictatorship, whose family members were tortured who suffered, who you ate dogs in the streets because of the communist regime under Maduro. Let me explain to you why Donald Trump is your oppressor. I mean, these people, we see this happen time and time again. They want to explain to all these poor people in these third world countries why Donald Trump is actually mean to them. And so while they are taking to the streets, protesting Donald Trump, he's so oppressive, he's fascist, he's a dictator, you seemingly all of these other countries who actually are oppressed around the world, it's actually emboldening them. President Trump liberating Venezuela and Venezuelans, President Trump's strength, his peace through strength policy is actually empowering some of these people who have felt oppressed for a very long time by their own dictators, by their own regime. Take Iran, for example. There have been massive protests all around the country. I mean, this has been going on for, I think, several months, maybe a month, call it a month. And it started over the same things that happened in Venezuela. Record high inflation, food prices went up, currency depreciation. They were not happy. They can't afford anything. And it started with President Trump and what he did in Venezuela. It started evolving into this broader movement that these people are like, actually, I want to be free. Actually, I see what freedom is. I'm looking at what's happening in America. I see the leadership with President Trump. I see what he did with Venezuela. And actually, as of course is the case with all of human history, humans inherently have a need, have a desire to be free. No one wants to live under a regime like that. So you have in Iran this evolving into this broader movement demanding an end to the current regime. And one of my favorite videos to come out of all of these protests is these women. They're lighting they're setting a picture of Khomeini, the supreme leader, on fire, and then they're using it to light a cigarette. And there's no hijab. They're out there. They're wearing the clothes that they want to wear. They're not covering their faces. And they are setting pictures of Khomeini on fire, lighting cigarettes with it. And I don't think that here in America, we don't understand how much weight that carries. I mean, that woman could be killed. And she's identifying herself very clearly because she's refusing to wear the hijab. That should go down in the history books. Like, that should be a really important video in history. And now that President Trump had all of his actions against the Venezuelan dictator, these Iran protests have been starting to transform into something bigger, into something deeper. The Iranian people are like, oh, can you help us, liberate us next? Please, President Trump. And now you have Ayatollah Khomeini, who is like, we're not backing down. This is from the New York Times. Iran's supreme leader vows to not back down as protests swell. After days of fierce protest, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei accused protesters of trying to, quote, please President Trump. Iranian authorities signaled further crackdowns on the demonstrations because just as in Venezuela, you're not allowed to protest. Now, here in America, they would claim we don't have the right to protest either. We don't have freedom of speech. No, I mean, you can go protest. You just can't threaten to kill people. You can't drive your car into law enforcement officials or anyone, really. That's a no-no. I mean, what a joke that you guys are complaining about how oppressed you are. These people will get run over. They'll get killed. They can get executed if they speak out against the current regime. And they're doing it. They feel empowered by America. And I keep thinking to myself, I said this when President Trump first got back in office. Actually, I take that back. I said it under the Joe Biden regime, is that you really don't understand. Like, you're taught here in America, you're taught through school that America is the greatest superpower in the entire world and that America has to be strong for a strong global force. Globally, if America is not strong, bad things happen to the entire world. The ramifications, the ripples are felt throughout the entire world. And you never, I knew it. I knew it from reading it. I knew it from learning it in school, but I never really saw in play, in practice, I never really saw through life with my very own eyes how true that was until we moved from a President Trump 1.0 to a Joe Biden regime. And what did we see? We saw wars breaking out. We saw Israel and Iran, or I know you'd say Palestine, but A, that's not a real place. And B, obviously, the true fighter on the other side is, of course, Iran. So you had Israel and Iran. You had Russia and Ukraine. You had all of these things happening all across the globe as a direct result of America being weak, of America's military being weak. Now, what do you see? You have a president who is pushing Russia, pushing Ukraine to negotiate. Hell, Zelensky came to the White House and they sent him home before he even ate his lunch. They were like, oh, the staffers are eating his lunch actually because we said, you don't want to come to the table, bye-bye. Come back when you're ready to actually negotiate. President Trump means business. He extradited the Venezuelan president, but illegitimate president. He extradited the Venezuelan leader because he belonged here with these crazy weapons. I don't know if you guys saw the stories. There was a security guard from Venezuela that came out and said, yeah, actually we've never seen anything like it. We've never felt anything like it. It was some sort of energy weapon where everything hurt. We couldn't hear. We couldn't see. Our noses started bleeding. We were rendered completely incapacitated. Now, totally fine afterwards, but rendered completely incapacitated during the 6 minutes that the American troops came in and took Maduro and left. That is peace through strength. Like, I can't think of anything, first of all, cooler than that. That is totally epic. But this is what the world needs. Everyone needs to be kept in check by what America might do. Now, I don't want to be involved in forever wars, but the fact that we can control making sure that there is peace around the world because of the threat of what America might do is, as it turns out, extremely important to the rest of the world. So President Trump said that he would consider military action if any of these protesters out there in the streets were killed. 500 of them have been killed now. Now, again, I don't want more forever wars, but if you've said it, you need to follow through on something so that they take you seriously. And if you really want to show how peace through strength works, continue with what you did in Venezuela, because President Trump has gotten more peace in the Middle East than any other prior president. He did it in his first term. He can do it in his second term, especially with the fact of the matter is that the Iranian regime is already scared. They already want to negotiate. I want to play for you President Trump on Air Force One last night.
The leaders of Iran called they want to negotiate. I think they're tired of being beat up by the United States. Iran wants to negotiate, yes. Negotiate what? We may meet with them. I mean, a meeting is being set up. But we may have to act because of what's happening before the meeting.
That's what America is supposed to be for. Keep everyone in check. Make sure that these dictators, make sure that these communist dictators aren't killing their own people for protesting. Just peace through strength. That's all that there is to it. By the way, there were people who were here in America protesting the Iranian regime, who were out there like in lockstep with the Iranian people, and someone with a U-Haul drove through the crowd. Gee, I wonder why they did. I wonder if that person has Iranian ties. I wonder what political views that person has. That person needs to have the book thrown at them here in this country, because we have the opportunity to prove to the entire world just how strong and how important America's military actually is. All right, we've got to take another quick break and we'll be back with more. But I want to remind you guys, if you have not yet, it's Monday, my brain still isn't turned on. If you have not yet actually joined BlazeTV, now's the time. We've got lots to offer over at blazetv.com/Sara. Subscribe today and save $20 with promo code Sara. That is blazetv.com/Sara. As we watch the Democrats continue to try to fight for all of these illegals to stay, it becomes abundantly clear what they're trying to do. And it's something that we've been saying for a very, very long time. Okay? It's completely obvious to anyone who is paying attention that the point is to bring in these third worlders to import new voters. But they can't vote yet, Sarah. They're not allowed to vote. They're illegals. They can't vote yet. Well, okay, sure. Number one, I would argue that bringing them in actually gives Democrats more representation because they are setting up shop in Democrat areas, giving Democrats, of course, more numbers in Congress. Duh. They would have, I think, what is it, like 18 or so seats was the last that I read, votes that they would not have had it not been for illegals being counted in the census, which then applies to how many representatives each place gets, each state gets. So obviously they're doing it through that. But also, as you saw with Zohran Mamdani, who was elected in New York City, the Muslim commie mayor of New York City. Yes, but you import them. You let them come around, stay here, just like bide their time until they can get naturalized. And then they will vote for the Muslim commie, as you see what happened. But on top of that, they do actually want illegals to vote. Now, again, this should be abundantly clear to anyone who's paying attention because New York City has already tried to do it. They got struck down by the Supreme Court. There have been places who were like, well, they should be able to vote in local elections. That affects them. They should be able to vote in just local stuff, just city stuff, just, okay, well, then maybe state stuff. Okay, well, maybe then federal stuff. They've been doing this with a playbook as old as time. And they've been calling you right-wing conspiracy theory nut jobs whenever you bring up the great replacement theory. Ooh, that's a crazy right-wing conspiracy theory. Ooh, the great replacement theory isn't happening. Except they keep saying the quiet parts out loud, and it is. So
this is your city.
Here is
And
socialist mayor
that,
of Seattle,
everyone.
Katie Wilson.
People who were born here in Seattle, people who came here from across the country and from across the world.
Okay.
Whatever the status of your immigration paperwork, this is your city. You deserve to be safe, to live a dignified life, and to have a say in your government.
Say in your government. If you are here illegally, you should have the right to vote. Hasn't that always been abundantly clear? We're going to bring them here. We're going to give them all of the free stuff. And then we're going to change the system so we can game it so that they can vote. And then Republicans will never win another election again. Those mean, nasty Republicans, the xenophobic, racist Republicans will never win another election again. They call it a hoax. The great replacement theory is just a hoax. The great replacement theory. For years, they have been trying to gaslight you that what you're watching happen right before your very eyes isn't actually happening. And just so we're clear, I'd like to play for you some of the greatest hits on that.
What is happening with this great replacement conspiracy theory is harmful to our country.
Conspiracy theory.
It endangers our people. It weakens our country.
It's racist.
And is a threat to our democracy.
And politics, the internet, has radicalized, angry, alienated, lost, and isolated individuals into falsely believing that they will be replaced. That's the word, replaced.
Yes.
By the other. By people who don't look like them. And who are, therefore, in a perverse ideology that they possess and being fed lesser beings.
Perverse.
I and all of you reject the lie.
It's a lie.
I call on all Americans to reject the lie. And I condemn those who spread the lie for power, political gain, and for profit.
These hard-right MAGA Republicans argue that people of color and minority communities are somehow posing a threat to the American way of life.
Yes.
This is replacement theory. in a nutshell. It is dangerous and a deeply anti-American worldview. It is poisoning minds, people's minds, who spend hours wandering the darkest wastelands of the internet.
This is who these people are. Like, they feel totally comfortable just saying that for years and years and years, gaslighting you into thinking you're actually the crazy one, you're the radicalized one, you're the one who's promoting false theories and lies. And then you have Katie Wilson, who's just like, actually, we should just let the illegals vote. Shouldn't we? Shouldn't we, everyone? Shouldn't we? Like, that's actually where we're at. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them. Let's not wait until this crazy socialist mayor, who, by the way, God bless Seattle. If you are a conservative in Seattle, you probably want to think about getting the hell out, because this woman who admitted that she had not really held a real job in her life and whose parents were still paying for her at the age of control room. To remind me how old this chick is. 43, somewhere around there. Parents still paying her bills, and Seattle's like, yeah, that's who we want to run things. We'll just give it a shot. We'll just give it the college try and just see what happens. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think Seattle is going to find out the hard way, but our laws are very clear on this. Illegals, not allowed. Not allowed to vote. The law is very clear on this. And if you don't like that, socialists, I would say you could actually ship the illegal back, and then you could just go to where they are from. And you guys could all just live together as one big happy family. That is what I would suggest that you guys do. All right, folks, we've got more to come. We got to take a quick break, though. We'll be right back. You know, I waited for a while to talk about this topic. I really did. I did not want to get into people's personal business and personal life. It just felt really icky for me to do so. But now that person has, with I think 1 million followers, defrauded people. And I'd like to make sure everyone knows who she is. Ashley St. Clair, who previously would consider herself a conservative influencer. She worked for, ironically enough, the Babylon Bee, the conservative satire site. And I feel like they're probably, Seth Dillon, my friend Seth Dillon, is probably thinking to himself like, well, weird to see how that's turned out, because Ashley St. Clair also went very hard in the paint, writing a book speaking out against the transing of children. Writing a book, it's called Elephants Are Not Birds. This was in 2021. And she wrote that it's a children's book to explain that you can't be something that you're not. An elephant cannot be a bird. A boy cannot be a girl. This was like the entire reason. She was one of the, as you would call them, activists who was trying to make sure that we stopped transing children and that we stopped trying to convince women to chop off healthy body parts, or boys to like stop their puberty and the obvious sterilization that comes from that. Now, Ashley St. Clair also happens to be one of the mothers of Elon Musk's 13 children. And they're undergoing this crazy custody battle, child support battle, which, by the way, he was like, hey, I would like to spend millions of dollars paying for you to live comfortably with my child. And she was like, no, I won't have that. Instead, I'm going to blow the whole damn thing up. I'm going to post about it on X. I'm going to talk shit about you. And now all of a sudden, she's like the scorned baby mama. Okay? So now Ashley St. Clair, in true typical feminist fashion, is all of a sudden, she has a totally different view on trans. Totally different view. Now, she said, someone had asked her, you've previously engaged in blatant transphobia. How do you feel about trans people in the wake of noticing how the far right truly is? Because now all of a sudden she's had this awakening now that she's in a custody battle with her child's father. By the way, anyway, I was going to say something that I won't. She replied, I feel immense guilt for my role, and even more guilt that things I have said in the past may have caused my son's sister more pain. Now, what she's referring to right there is Elon Musk's trans child. He has a child who is a male whose mother is allowing him to live as a female. So now she's referring to the trans person as a sister when it's a boy. Okay, she goes on, I don't really know how to make amends for many of these things, but I have been trying incredibly hard privately to learn and advocate for those within the trans community that I've hurt. I also haven't said much on this because I've gone back and forth over whether my voice would be helpful on the issue, since it will be framed as disingenuous or just turning because I'm scorned. Even this reply will become right-wing hysteria, but yeah, I'm sorry. Let me know how I can help. I'm sorry that she's like, I mean, this is just going to be taken as a girl who's just scorned. Yeah, girl, because it is. If this is a principle, if this is a value that you hold, like how can you all of a sudden be like, oh, actually, I believe in biology. And then you're like, actually, I don't believe in biology at all. I don't believe in biology at all anymore. And now I feel bad for my son's sister. My son's sister, who is a boy with a penis, unless he's already chopped it off. I don't know what the status is of this guy. I mean, it is one of Elon's like greatest heartbreaks in his life. If you listen to anything he talks about, it's like his origin story. And now this woman who didn't work out with him the way that she thought it would. And now all of a sudden she's like weaponizing children's lives and mental illness against her ex. I'm sorry. I just, everyone in the conservative landscape needs to reject her. Unfollow her. Don't listen to her. By the way, behind the scenes, she was reaching out to me in my DMs whenever I would joke about women shouldn't have the right to vote. And she's like, you need to stop saying that. You need to stop saying that. Yeah, it might be a joke, but you need to stop saying that because people might take you seriously. There are people who actually want women to not vote. And I'm like, okay, freedom of speech police. So now Elon, before we have to go, is filing for full custody. He said, given her statements implying she might transition a 1-year-old boy. Just pay attention to who your heroes are. Pay attention to who your leaders are. Pay attention. If they have feminist notions, feminist tendencies, they're probably a feminist in disguise just grifting, and you should not give them your support. Just telling you guys, be very careful with who you support. That is it for us here at Sara Gonzales Unfiltered, but we're here all week. We've got much more. We'll see you tomorrow.